Alright, so in this chapter I want to talk about the mobile web in general. In many areas, companies are actually looking at their mobile apps and their mobile experience before looking at their website or desktop products. Responsive design is huge right now. Google and Bing have recently declared their recommendations for responsive design. So if you're building any kind of new website, you basically have to implement something for mobile users to succeed. So I just want to take a look at some statistics and what kind of impact mobile browsing has on the internet in the past few years. So what is the mobile web? Mobile web is a term that refers to the use of a browser-based or application internet services from a mobile device such as a smartphone or a tablet. So this refers to just websites with responsive designs or separate mobile websites, as well as apps that you purchase at the App Store. PhoneGap, which is obviously we'll be talking about. Using mobile devices to browse the web is becoming increasingly popular at a rapid rate. Just in the last 2 years, mobile browsing has doubled. In the last year, it's tripled, so it's not going anywhere. Mobile browsing could actually exceed desktop browsing within the next 5 years. That's from the International Telecommunication Union. Like I said, when we talk about mobile web, we're referring to websites as well as web apps and native apps. And we'll be talking about the difference in web apps and native apps. So mobile web advantages. Obviously, portability is probably the biggest one. You can access the internet pretty much anywhere, whether you're at work or in the line waiting for coffee. You can check your email, your bank statements, whatever, at any time. And it's also obviously quick access to the internet. And apps. People love apps. There's not really anything you can't do with an app digitally. And people love going to the App Store and Google Play on their Androids. It's just a big part of mobile web. And you're usually directed right to the important info. If a site is optimized for mobile devices, it usually only has, you can't fit everything on that small screen, so it goes right to whatever the contact button or the payment button, whatever it is that people go to that site for, is usually front and center. Alright, so mobile browsing trends. Like I said, mobile browsing has doubled in the past 12 months and has tripled in the last 2 years. It's making significant inroads on traditional internet access from PCs. So you can see here this chart, which represents smartphone and tablets, has gone up significantly. And this is from 2011 to the beginning of this year, 2013. Computer sales are down. So obviously, as mobile web rises, computer sales are going to go down. There's been a global slump in computer sales because consumers are spending their money on new smartphones and tablets. So are tablets going to replace PCs? Well, one of, if not the biggest reason computer sales are down is because of tablet sales. People think that they can buy a tablet and that will replace their laptop or desktop, which in some cases is true, but for the most part, tablets don't give you everything that a desktop or a laptop can. Tablets are great to browse the web casually, and like I said, in many cases can replace a laptop for people that don't depend on technology for their jobs. Tablets don't have near the processing power as a good laptop or a desktop, so it can be very limited. So the good news for PCs, when I say PC I mean laptops or desktops, the good news is that mobile users tend to spend a lot less time on a site than on a tablet or a mobile device than a desktop or a laptop. and in some cases it's as much as 40%. Mobile browsing is all about finding what you want, and that's it. If you want to spend hours and hours on the internet, chances are you'd be doing that at home, on your computer, at a desk, with a keyboard. Nighttime usage. Obviously, most people tend to use their computers at night when you're going to be comfortable. Like I said, you're going to spend hours on the internet. You want to sit at a desk and just have that kind of workspace. And it could be worse. PCs did have a 14% drop in one quarter, but 11 in the second. So while the numbers are bad, they are getting better. And in my own personal opinion, I think a lot of the people that purchased a tablet instead of a PC will actually end up buying a PC. And that's just my own point of view. So mobile websites versus apps. In some cases, there's not much difference between a mobile website and an app. A mobile website is usually open in a browser, so you'd have to go to Safari or Chrome and open up a web browser and type in the internet address. But nowadays, with using tools like PhoneGap, we can actually make anything into an app. We can just make a two-page informational website and turn that into an app that can actually be installed on your mobile device. But usually an app is something that the consumer interacts with, using it for a purpose, to find a restaurant or to make bank transactions. Usually has some kind of dynamic functionality as opposed to just an about page or something like that. And there are web apps and native apps, which we will discuss in the coming section. Web apps are usually HTML5, JavaScript, CSS. Native apps are usually in more high-level languages like Java or Objective-C. So we'll talk more about that later. So that's it for this section. In the next section, we will talk about web apps versus native apps.